Prabhupada's commentary. Jai Srila Prabhupada. In regard to the significant word anama rupa, Srila Siddhar Swami says, Prakrita nama rupa rahitapi. The word anama, which means having no name, indicates Supreme Personality of Godhead has no material name. Simply by chanting the name of Narayana to call his son, a Jamil attains salvation. This means that Narayana is not an ordinary mundane name. It's non-material. The word anama, therefore, indicates that the names of the Supreme Lord do not belong to this material world. The vibration of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is not a material sound. And similarly, the form of the Lord and his appearance and activities are non-material. To show his causeless mercy to the devotees as well as to the non-devotees, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appears in the material world with names, forms, and pastimes which are all transcendental. Unintelligent men who cannot understand this think that these names, forms, and pastimes are material, and therefore they deny that he has a name or a form. Wow, that's great. Go back over that little section. The form of the Lord, his appearance and activities are non-material. Period, the end. They are not material. To show his causeless mercy to the devotees as well as to the non-devotees. Krishna doesn't play favoritism like that. He's showing his name, form, and his appearance and his activities to devotees as well as non-devotees, to show his mercy. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in the material world with names, forms, and pastimes, all of which are transcendental. He manifests these things, but they're not material. He manifests them so they can be perceived like the deity. Krishna manifests in his Archa Vigraha form. Stone, wood, brass. There's different forms of deities, different elements. And he manifests there. But the form is transcendental. It's not wood, stone, brass, paint, whatever. It's not those things. The Lord can do that. He can take the material elements and make himself visible through the material elements. But they become spiritual by his presence. They're no longer material because of the presence of the Lord, because he manifests there. Then those elements are no longer material elements. And the activities that take place, and the pastimes that take place in serving those forms, in serving the Lord in his Archa Vigraha, are not material. They're transcendental. Unintelligent men who cannot understand this think the forms, names, and pastimes are material. Krishna is just a historical character, and they're worshiping idols in the temple. They're just worshiping material forms. They can't see. They just see something material because they're unintelligent. They don't have the spiritual vision. And then they deny that God has a name or a form. He's just energy. Considering with scrutiny the conclusion of non-devotees who say God has no name, and that of devotees who know that his name is not material, are practically the same. Yeah, because they say he has no name. Well, it's right, he doesn't. He doesn't have a material name. The devotees also say, yeah, he doesn't have a name. He doesn't have a material name. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no material name, form, birth, appearance, or disappearance. But nevertheless, he takes his birth, Janma. That's very confusing for the materialist. That's very confusing. They can't perceive what is happening. That from the spiritual plane is manifesting on the material plane in such a way that those with material vision can perceive. And in that sense, not material. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakritim swam adistaya sambhavam yatma maya. Although the Lord is unborn, Aja, and his body never undergoes material changes, he nevertheless appears as an incarnation, maintaining himself always in the transcendental stage, Suddhasattva. Thus he exhibits his transcendental forms, names, and activities. That is his special mercy toward his devotees. We say, well, Krishna, he grew. He was a baby in Vrindavan, and then he became a young boy, and then he became a youth. So, yeah, his body changed. He grew. So it's material. No. He manifested those forms to engage in pastimes. He manifests those forms to engage in pastimes. His body isn't aging in the sense that a material body ages. His body doesn't die. But he manifests different age appearances because he can engage in loving pastimes in different ways according to the different ages. And you can see that he'd been on the planet 125 years and he still looked like a young man with his pastimes with the Pandavas and Indraprastha, Dwarka. He had sons and grandsons. I don't know if he had great-grandsons, but it was quite a long time, and he was just like a young man. His body's not material. He will appear to manifest different ages so that he can engage in pastimes that are associated with a person of that age. Baby pastimes. Childish pastimes. Student pastimes. Youthful, exuberant pastimes. Youthful, lusty pastimes. Pastimes as a man of responsibility and power and influence. A conqueror of demons, a man with armies and great opulence. All different kinds of pastimes. He's not bound by those pastimes. It's how he enjoys manifesting those things. He's not imitating us, we're imitating him. He's the original. The conditioned soul, stuck in the material concept of life and identifying with material bodies and forms, are imitating Krishna. Krishna's not imitating us. We didn't create Krishna. Krishna created us. We really do get it backwards. But we can, by looking around us, we can understand, at least to some degree, the personality of Godhead. Because we're looking at a reflection through matter. Unintelligent persons. Okay, thus he exhibits his transcendental forms, names, and pastimes. This is his special mercy toward his devotees. Everyone can see, but the unintelligent, they don't enter into the actual understanding of what's going on. They just see externally. They don't have that internal vision. That internal vision comes by the mercy of devotional service. Comes through bhakti, through the mercy of the Lord's representatives. So they don't see, they just see external. Others may continue merely arguing about whether the absolute truth has form or not. But when a devotee, by the grace of the Lord, sees the Lord personally, he becomes spiritually ecstatic. Yeah, they're arguing. What is it like? A jar of honey. So people are looking at the honey, and it's a jar, and the lid is on, and they're arguing what the honey is. Does it have taste or doesn't it? Is it sweet? Some say it's sweet, and others say it's not sweet. Some say it's good for you, others say it's not good for you. And they're arguing about the honey, what it is. What are its qualities? Does it have quality? They're arguing about the honey. They don't know the honey. They're on the outside. They're just looking in through the jar, through the glass. They don't know. They haven't experienced what honey is. It's in the jar. It's covered from them. The actual nature of the honey is covered from them. But the devotee is the one who knows how to remove the lid and taste the honey. And the devotee knows what the honey is. Others, they'll be on the outside looking at the jar and arguing. No, honey's like this. No, honey's like that. No, it isn't. No, there isn't even any honey. Yeah, is there honey? I don't know. They'll argue continually. The devotee takes some honey out of reaches into the jar and tastes the honey. And he becomes spiritually ecstatic. So without that taste, can't know. You're just speculating. Unintelligent persons say that the Lord does nothing. Actually, he has nothing to do. But nevertheless, he has to do everything, because without his sanction, no one can do anything. Prabhupada's purports today. He likes to play with words sometimes, and it's just really sweet. Unintelligent persons say the Lord does nothing. Well, they're right. He has nothing to do. However, spiritually, he has to do everything. Because without his sanction, no one can do anything. Because everything is dependent on the Lord. The unintelligent, however, cannot see how he is working, how the entire material nature is working under his direction. That goes back to an earlier verse where I was saying how the mind the senses cannot perceive how the mind is perceiving them. The mind is perceiving the senses, but the senses cannot perceive the mind. So we're like that. We can't perceive how Krishna is doing everything and how Krishna is even perceiving us. We can't perceive that Krishna is perceiving us in our conditioned state. So the intelligent cannot see how he is working, even within their own bodies, they can't see. And how the entire material nature is working under his direction. His different potencies work perfectly. This is a verse Prabhupada, there's a couple lines in this verse Prabhupada quotes a lot. It's from the Svetasvara Upanishad. I'm not familiar with a couple of the lines, but here goes. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, natat samas cha bhyadikas cha drishyate, parasya shaktir vividhaya shruyate, swabhaviki jana bala kriya cha. Prabhupada would always be saying, parasya shaktir vividhaya shruyate. He has nothing to do personally, for since his potencies are perfect, everything is immediately done by his will. Persons to whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not revealed cannot see how he is working. Therefore they think that even if there is God, he has nothing to do or no particular name. Yeah, if take the body, things are working so perfectly, really almost without thinking about it, everything. And there are certain functions of the body that we don't consciously do. Like half the time we're not even conscious of what we're doing. Moving our arms, our eyelids, breathing, moving the head, the feet. And these things appear to be just going on by themselves. But it's under the direction of the mind. And the mind is is trying to satisfy the desires that are stored within it. Making arrangements to engage the senses. And then beyond that is the super soul, who is sanctioning everything. The mind isn't supreme. The super soul is. The Lord within the heart is fueling everything. So the unintelligent, or those that are bewildered by their desires for material enjoyment, they can't perceive these higher energies behind things. They really don't care. Eat, drink, and be merry. Who cares? Just take it all in. Bewildered by the material senses, material desire for material sense gratification. Totally bewildered. So if someone suffers enough frustrations, then they might start to ask some questions. I just want to enjoy. How come I have all these problems? Then they might start to ask some serious questions about who am I really? And how can I want to be happy. How can I be happy? So there's a possibility for that. Oh, boy. Really, yeah, it's a long purport. There's a lot of good stuff in this purport. Actually, the Lord's name already exists because of his transcendental activities. The Lord is sometimes called excuse me. The Lord is sometimes called Gunakarma Nama, because he is named according to his transcendental activities. For example, Krishna means all attractive. This is the Lord's name because his transcendental qualities make him very attractive. As a small boy, he lifted Govardhan Hill, and in his childhood he killed many demons. Such activities are very attractive, and therefore he's sometimes called Giridhari, Madhusudana, Aganasudana, and so on. Because he acted as the son of Nanda Maharaj, he's called Nanda Tanuja. Nanda Tanuja. These names already exist. But since non-devotees cannot understand the names of the Lord, he's sometimes called Anama, or nameless. This means that he has no material names. All his activities are spiritual, therefore he has spiritual names. Okay. So that's why materialists can't understand the Lord has names, because he gets his names from his spiritual activities and qualities. And they cannot understand these transcendental activities and qualities without entering into devotional service. They're trying to understand the Lord by mental speculation. And so from that viewpoint, the Lord has no names. They're cut off from it. They're looking at the honey on the outside, the jar, only. They can't really perceive what's inside. Generally, less intelligent men are under the impression that the Lord has no form. Therefore, he appears in his original form as Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. Going back to that little section in that verse about Krishna's name as Krishna, the all-attractive, Prabhupada discusses a little bit here how Krishna is all-attractive. His qualities make him very attractive. As a small boy, he lifted Govardhan Hill. In childhood, he killed many demons. Such activities are very attractive. Everyone likes a hero, especially a superhero. And he's sometimes called, he has his names from those activities. These names already exist. Krishna exhibited them when he incarnates. He exhibits them, but they already exist eternally because his pastimes are eternal in the spiritual world. They're manifest here for some time, but in the spiritual world they're always manifested. So when he manifests here, incarnates, and enacts these pastimes here on the transcendental platform within the material world, devotees, non-devotees cannot understand because they see his pastimes as material. So they cannot understand. See, the Lord has no names. He has no he has no pastimes, he has no activities, he has no quality, he has no form. Even though Krishna personally comes, does all sorts of wonderful things, superhuman, incredible pastimes, appears as the most beautiful person, overwhelming beauty, and they just see material. Why? Because they're envious of Krishna. They want to be like Krishna. So there's a little competition there. And if Krishna is brought down to the material platform, then they can fight. And maybe they'll be victorious. Maybe they'll become better than Krishna. Maybe they'll even kill Krishna. They're just seeing materially. And understand his supreme position, his dominion over all that is. They're blinded by their envy and desire to overlord. They're intoxicated by their own teeny tiny spiritual potencies. Everyone has spiritual potencies, but they're minuscule. And they come from Krishna. So if you turn against the source of your own spiritual potencies, you can glide down through the material nature. You're cutting yourself off from your own source. Generally, less intelligent men are under the impression Lord has no form. Therefore, he appears in his original form as Satchidananda Vigraha to carry out his mission of participating in the battle of Kurukshetra and pastimes to protect the devotees and vanquish the demons. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya chidiskritam. And he appears as Archa Vigraha in the temple. Oh, I have no form? Okay, here I am. And we see wonderful, wonderful activities happening due to the serving the deity in the temple. We see food distribution, we see chanting of mantras, we see beautification of the area, we see the lessening of crime, practically disappearing in the vicinity. And we see those that are engaged in serving Krishna in his deity form becoming more and more purified. We see them entering into deeper, deeper appreciation of the personality of Godhead, becoming pure devotees. So, it's Krishna. Wonderful pastimes, wonderful activities, the deity. And they say, oh, he doesn't have them. It's just a stone or wood. There should be some idol or something. No, the service is not for anything material. The material things come automatically. The wonderful foods and the wonderful atmosphere, it all comes automatically from serving Krishna when he manifests as Archa Vigraha. So he's showing, I have a form, and you can perceive me this way, engage in my service, develop pure devotional service. My deity form. I have lots of forms. I can manifest any way I want. I'm in sound. I'm in the sound of the Hare Krishna mantra. I'm in the sound of I'm in my holy name. I'm in the glorification. My glorification is me. I manifest there. I manifest in my devotees, my pure devotees. They become my representatives. They become empowered. They become as good as my very self. Because of their complete surrender. So he appears in his original form as Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, to carry out his mission of participating in the battle of Kurukshetra and pastimes to protect devotees, vanquish demons, Paritranaya sadhanam vinasaya chidiskritam. This is his mercy. For those who think he has no form and no work to do, Krishna comes to show that indeed he works. He works so gloriously that no one else can perform such uncommon acts. Although he appeared as a human being, he married 16,108 wives, which is impossible for a human being to do. The Lord performs such activities to show people how great he is, how affectionate he is, how merciful he is. Although his original name is Krishna, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, he acts in unlimited ways, and therefore, according to his work, he has many, many, thousands of names. So, chant, chant, chant. Hare Krishna, Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. Oh my Lord, you have thousands and millions of names, and simply by your holy name alone can attain pure devotional service. I'm so unfortunate. I have no taste. for chanting your holy names. This is the age. Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Sankirtan Yagna. Hare Krishna.